35. That's what we're gonna be doing on this one. Oh, what the heck. I hit live and then it gets stuttery as shit. What is that about? Why? Why? You're only using 4.6 of the GPU. That's no good. All right, well, is there like another thing that I can do for this? Nope. That just is. That just is a restart, and we'll see if it's better. Yeah, that should be fine. I think. Still not. Why? What happened? Why did it break? I just clicked go stream. So what I hate about streaming, you set up the exact same stuff and then everything go breaky. Let's delete yes, and then let's add it back in. Whoa, that's crazy. You see that? We're gonna do that. And then we're gonna do that. And then we're gonna do that. Something like that. And we're gonna put this all the way to the bottom. Ta-da! Is that all it needed? Somewhat. We'll run with it for now. What's up, guys? Activate source. No. There we go. Now we're good. Last one I did fucked up the BCU. Yikes. Yeah, don't do that. They're easy to not fuck up. Why didn't I get a thumbnail? Here we go. We'll save it with that one. So the BCM is what a lot of people fuck up, but I'd imagine there's a couple more things. RAMs, chargers, challengers. Like I know there are problems because I ran into one on a RAM early on, learned out how to stop that from happening. And then chargers and stuff, like other people have had issues, they put BCMs down there. They just put them in bad spots. Like water, bad for tinter spots. So let's get a towel. Let's cover things up. There's a few places that can especially be a problem, and I usually go to extra lengths to cover that up. I've found that if you're just generally careful and you tuck a towel in, you're not gonna have an issue. But where a lot of people have an issue is just gonna be right here. They'll like half-ass cover it up and spray too much shit. But you wanna always make sure that whatever you're using to protect the dash is for sure tucked into like the front edge of this windshield. because all the moisture is going to run down the windshield. And then it's going to collect here, and it's going to start running over here, and then go down, and that feeds into stuff. So you want to make sure you tuck that towel in and use it as a rope, and then you can add a rope in there for extra measure. That's syncing up. It's a little closer. I'm waiting a little bit longer to see if my cameras actually sync up like they did yesterday. But we're gonna be doing full windshield in 35%. He just got the windshield replaced yesterday. Yeah, that looks fine. Main thing you want to check, if you can, is just the urethane. You want to make sure that you can't punch a hole in it very easily, because some people can just use urethanes that don't cure very fast. I knew he was gonna have the windshield replaced, so I would just leave all this shit off of it. Doesn't help me. I'll put it back on for you. Ah, there we go. Nice. Look at all that. Look at all that shit there. What can we unplug? I don't even know.
What time is it?
I don't know. What time is it, Luke?
It's go home.
It's not go home time yet.
That's it.
Well, that was easy. Twist off. Don't touch any of this stuff. Hey, Bebo, can you get Luke?
Lucas, come here. Lucas.
Come on. You gotta go over there for now, okay? Mm-hmm. Fear was not a factor for Matt. Yes, mini Matt. You know, he had a snow day today. We found out like 11 o'clock last night. And that's when I learned that snow days are not as exciting for parents as they are for children. Camera one. Yeah, he was devastated because he brought in all his Avengers and then realized he forgot Iron Man. So we had to print him out in Iron Man. The new windshield, had it replaced yesterday, and then they still managed to stick this, even though he knew it was being tinted. I wonder if that was the company that replaced it. They just put it back on for him. Tracking, I have a new security system. And part of setting up that security system was using some of them for streaming at the same time. And they're fantastic security cameras. They're okay streaming cameras. How long does ceramic tint last? Just as good as any other film, depending on the quality of the materials used. So ceramic is a layer inside of a standard window film. So that window film can be made a bunch of different ways. So as long as they're using good materials, it's gonna last as long as any other one. Dual stream in widescreen and vertical. Yeah, that would be nice. I put a lot of thought into it. It's just difficult because I move around. So if I had fixed cameras and I could stay sitting at a desk or something, it'd be easy. But on the cameras that I wear, I have to choose between like vertical and horizontal. I fell asleep with your live on. Oh, it actually switched to number 2. Camera 1. Are ceramic tints worth it? Yeah, definitely. But not everybody's looking for heat rejection. So it makes driving much more comfortable. So it essentially acts like a solar, it's a solar filter is really what it is. So normally the heat from the sun that passes right through your glass gets blocked by a ceramic film. That's going to be the major difference between them. They're not going to wash your laundry. They're not going to drive you to the grocery store. They're not going to pick up your dirty clothes. They block heat. So there's a lot of magic and extra things people like to say about them. But really, the main difference between those films up there, the carbon blocks a little bit of heat, more heat in the darker shades. The ceramic blocks more heat than the carbon, and it does it across all the shades. And then our dual ceramic blocks the most amount of heat. It's effectively like having 2 layers of ceramic, but it's baked into one film. I was under the impression ceramic gives better visibility. No, it really comes along with just a good film. So people wish there were more talking points, so they kind of fudge stuff. So like a shop could carry a ceramic film that has a little better visibility, but that they might say that just because they want to boost sales. Or they're carrying an inferior film as their entry just to save on costs. But I can have a nice, transparent Dyed film, carbon film, ceramic film, doesn't matter. Why can't you be in New York? Oh, there's good tinners out there too. Who's out there? Sean? Sean's out there. Shine Tech Auto Spa? He's got a channel. Go see him. The Window Tint Warriors channel. Lots of videos. Runs a good shop out there. When I was shrinking my side windows, the same fingers kept, when I was shrinking my side windows, the same fingers kept coming back. I was shrinking, started from the bottom, followed the fingers up. Was I supposed to do it differently? No. Just make sure you have the film oriented properly. So if I have a roll of film here, you want to make sure that that roll of film is unrolled this way, so the core is facing up and down. So we're shrinking out the factory edges of the film. If you took a wider roll and put it this way, and you tried shrinking fingers, they're not going to shrink properly. So we shrink like up and down relative to how the film is placed on the window, which might have been the case for you. Do you let the truck warm down for a certain amount of time when it's cold? Typically, no. I just pull it in and get started. This one had just a ton of snow on it, so we sweeped it off. Because on a windshield, that'll get in my way. So we're gonna line this along the windshield. This is Glass Aid cut guard. And the main point of it is to keep my blade off of the windshield. So I cut directly on the tape. The tape, I put it right on the edge of the dots, so I know anywhere that I cut on that line, I'm not gonna have a gap. I'm gonna be outside the black border. $3M still in the tint business? Yeah, absolutely. More so recognized in architectural, but they're just expensive for automotive. So only certain shops are really gonna carry them. As a detail shop, we get so many calls about tint. Yeah, we teach a lot of detailers. It's a natural fit. Anytime you have a car business, tint is like an auto glass. People are asking for tint. Auto accessories, people are asking for tint. Detailing, people are asking for tint. It is the most popular service. Fast turnaround, low cost of materials. It's a good business all around, but it's got a really steep learning curve. So, yeah, find a tint guy, somebody that you can work with, hopefully, or maybe a shop nearby that can do good referrals. You get business from them, they get business from you. Mobile? No. I was mobile for about 5 years. My favorite way of doing mobile was working with shops, not necessarily tint shops, but auto business shops. I hated going to houses. That was the worst. Took way too long. Customers never had a good space for me to tint in. It was just a huge drag every time. So I mainly stuck to going to shops, and we would have accounts. And those accounts would get certain days of the week. I'm in Monroe. Can't find anybody out here. Yeah, some areas can be challenging. Okay, so we got this cleaned off, dryer sheeted. So this is a coating that I put on the outside of the windshield. This is gonna help with shrinking. And we're gonna explain a little bit more once we get into it. But we gotta let that completely dry first. I wanna see how these... Okay, that's closer. Still a little bit off. But I wanna see my audio too. Okay, audio is like near spot on. That's good. We could go filters. We could go click on this. We could bump it up to 110. Let's try that. That's spot on. I left GeoShield out in the cold. Is it cooked? No, not at all. Yeah, that's pretty good. Trying to sync 2 cameras and audio. It's fun because it apparently likes to start unsynced. So where I leave it now and I stream again, it might become unsynced again. It's nice when everything's consistent. But I don't think this is. This is what? The rest of 5. So this roll is done. We can throw that out. This will go back in the cabinet. $35 right here. That's what I need. What? What do you need? They're not made to hold an Allen wrench. They don't. This isn't a. I mean, it's a weapon, but like, their hands aren't made for that one, buddy. Here, come here. We need to hide all the Allen wrenches because he thinks that these are supposed to hold them. He's now wondering where they are. The problem is he wants them to hold them, and they're not going to hold them. And then he's going to lose his ever-loving mind. $35? I think that's this one. He does need a raise. He's supposed to be in school, but he has a snow day today, even though the facility's open. It's not fair. Snow days are for kids, though, not for the grown-ups. Okay, where is my tool belt? Where do you get your film? Check the bio. What? Ay, ay, ay. I'm gonna have to take away all his Avengers. Can you explain the legality of tint? Like my state is 30%, but everybody has super dark tint. So everybody's driving around with not legal tint. So at any point in time, any of those people can get pulled over and get a ticket for darker tint. Some areas they care. Lordy. You guys can watch that show. Camera 2. You know, I was looking at YouTube, and there's a guy that plays with wrestling figures, like my age, and I want to say he had like 1,000 people watching him, and that's more than once. And it's like I'm in the wrong field. Screw window tinting. Let's just play with toys. It's more fun anyways. I recently got a ticket after 4 years. After I got it signed off, I'm going darker. I don't think they realize that's a lot of people's... Like, that's what a lot of people do after they get a ticket. They're like, if I'm gonna get a ticket for it, I might as well drive around with something I actually like to drive around with. So I'm gonna go darker. Camera 1. Camera 1. Camera 1. I bet it's Luke. I bet when he goes, ah! It muddies it. Exotic car guys that get pulled over for no plates. Oh. I actually didn't know that. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, because what's the price of a ticket gonna cost? Who cares when you have that? It's an inconvenience. Like, I saw that it was more a business. I forgot what it was called. It was more of a businessy movie though, but it was Michael Jordan. Like then it was a Nike. It was about Nike. And then they just like it was like what, $5,000 or something a game if his shoes were colorful. And so they just paid the fines. And then it was an advertising cost. It's like the same thing. Is the tint to prevent chips? No, it goes on the inside. We're just not quite there yet. Air. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they paid his fines because his shoes were red. Yep. You always snap shrink windshields. No, this isn't snap shrinking. This is just shrinking. So I look for these. See these little waves? That's shrunk. This, right above it, that's loose. So that's not shrunk yet. So I can take this, push this forward, I can bump that out the side, and then I can keep shrinking. But see, I shrink until I start seeing these waves, and I don't want to shrink these anymore. That's telling me that it's shrunk enough. Push that up. This didn't look like those lines, right? So that needs more heat. Put some more heat on it. We're starting to see it there. After the film is shrunk, do you snap it? Kind of. You absolutely can lift it up. I'll re-shrink the top and bottom edges. I don't really go out of my way to like lift it and then re-shrink them. I find just if you get the heat gun close, it does the same thing. I'm a 17-year-old window tinter. How can I get customers? Consistently? Well, I've never had a customer ask my age. So you get them the same as everybody else does. Paying for ads, advertising, social media posts, hustling. But that's cool. But yeah, there's nothing like getting consistent customers is just business. It's tricky for everybody. What temperature do you estimate is coming out of your heat gun? Hot. Because it doesn't matter, and it's not as simple as I put this much temperature on my film for this amount of seconds. Every film's going to be a little bit different. Some are going to shrink. Some are just going to need more heat. So what you want to do is ignore the temperature off your heat gun and look at what the film is doing. And then, depending on what the film is doing, will tell you if you need more heat. So I'm looking for this pattern. Do you pay for ads like Facebook or Instagram? Yeah, I've got a company that runs my Google ads. They set up a funnel. People click on ads. They fill out a form on the funnel page, and then we immediately get in contact with them. So see all this loose film? Like, shrinking is confusing early on, but I'm simply just looking for a certain pattern. As soon as the film starts doing this, that's shrunk. I don't need to make it more defined than that. As soon as I start seeing those horizontal waves, I just smooth the film forward. Now for a top corner, you'll notice they start to curve. So you just want to follow that curve, and what it's doing is, look, it's grabbing some of this finger here. We're gonna lift this and then tack this down. Oh, I did too much. I got a finger here still, right? So you can lift it again, push this straight up, flatten it back down. Just the very edge is all we want to do. And then we're ready to shrink it more. But it took the sharpness of this finger and it brought it down. Top corners, you want to make sure you're giving them as much relief. You're not trying to take our air pockets and then shove them up this way and bunch it up there. You're trying to take that, stretch them flat. But see this pattern? That's shrunk. This is not, this is not. All this needs to be shrunk more, but you can see this line coming right to here. So I can push this right up to this, and I'm gonna stop. And then this, if I just go cram this up, I'm gonna get a crease. This is all loose film that needs to be shrunk more. So what we wanna avoid is this right here. It's not doing it a whole ton, but when I take heat and I put it over an area, I'm watching for the film to, again, give those little horizontal waves. I don't want to see this film start to pinch. So if you pull on it and like do that, or you take it and just flatten it out, what you're trying to do then is get an even amount of heat going over that whole area, and see how that just now flattened out? That's all you're doing. Shrinking is just, you're reading those little wave patterns on the film, and as soon as you see them, you did a good job. You can cart it forward and look at what needs to be shrunk next. And you're just trying to get it stretched flat over the entire windshield. What's your windshield price? So this one, carbon, is $150. Are you liking the Meta glasses? Yeah, they're cool. I'd like them even more if I had a pair and they did Streamlabs. But they're getting there. They're all, I think they're maybe within the next 6 months. You can stream on Facebook. You can't stream anywhere else. I realize you aren't using that. I know. I will be. Yeah, that'll never happen. That's why I'm excited for Streamlabs. So we're gonna trim this out. Battery life is only 10% of what they advertise. Yeah, you can't do much on them for very long. So even when they get that integration, I'm gonna have to have a wire coming off of the nose bridge to a battery bank in order to stream for any length of time. They're working on a third-party marketplace, but they're so like, it's such a tight form factor. So heat, battery life is just both terrible. They just don't have much to work with. But they're getting there. Give them another year or two, and they'll probably be twice as good. There's so many companies that are working on it though, so I'm really excited about that. Wireless streaming tech. Takes a while, and it keeps getting ignored. Yeah, the camera quality on them is fantastic because it's a mix. You need like good stabilization, good flexibility on lighting. They nailed processing on those things. When you stand on the car, doing the windshield, does your leg shake? Like a puppy? No. No, I just stand on the door sill. It's never, that part's never been a problem. It's, the annoying part is all the up downs and walking around to the other side of the car. Leg starts to do the Cupid shuffle. How's your third-person camera follow me? It's a security camera. I just put one outside. It's kind of awesome. But I have 3 of them. Camera 2. Ah, it never works when you want to show people. Camera 2. Hey, there we go. Camera 1. Nice. Need a little bit more fine tuning on it, but it's getting better. Are they set up for live or both security and live? Both. So they're absolutely just like security cameras for the shop. I wanted a few that, like, it's nice to have them around the car. So then if somebody asks about a situation, like if a situation pops up, you have footage on all angles of the car that you can pull up. I was shrinking a windshield. After a minute, my legs started shaking like it was a nerve. Ooh, that's no good. What's the silliest thing a customer has been upset with you over? The one that comes to mind I did a Volvo, and we streamed the whole thing. We covered everything up, and then a handful of days later, on the panel, there was a very very slight impression that you could hardly even tell with a picture on the panel. And the customer was like, I swear that was not there before. I'm like, ah. There would be no way of knowing before or after, or if that's even actually a defect. It was just like a very slight impression. It's like, I don't know, you could have got it delivered like that. No, I swear it wasn't there before. But I told him to take it to a dealership. And then I never heard back from him. That was definitely one of the silliest ones I've ever seen. Okay, so after my windshield is trimmed, I go over the top and the bottom edges. I don't like actively go to lift it. You can, you're not hurting it by doing anything. But I'm checking the edges and just making sure that everything is tight. Because you shrunk over a tape line, and when you trim it, you just trimmed away an area that was all connected to where you were shrinking. So it makes sense there'd be a few little wobbles and stuff. How many 5% do you all do in a year? I'd have to check each individual one. I actually don't know. We just did one yesterday. 20 is going to be our most popular. And then if they choose a different shade, it's about 50-50. Sometimes people will get a 35%, and sometimes people get a 5%. It feels pretty equal. All right, so let's get this untangled, and then we're going to install our windshield. Have a good day. You too, man. Thanks for hanging out. Love the camera angles. I appreciate that. I'm not sure YouTube does. It's tough to say. I feel like it's mixed. All right. Is there a tint that goes dark to clear? There is. It's not very good, and it's not very practical. You're gonna look up transition film. So it changes with UV, like a lot of transition lenses do. But on windshields, there's a laminate, so it's already blocking UV. So they don't work on a windshield. And some doors are laminated too, so they just don't always work on door windows as well. So it varies. In 10 years, do you think tint installations will become less needed? I mean, the big question is, how soon is autonomy gonna take over? And you got a whole lot of money behind it, but I don't know. Because they've got so much money behind it, that usually means that it's gonna happen inevitably. I don't know how fast that's gonna happen. No, because it will never be dark enough from the factory. No, ownership of the vehicle is probably just gonna go down. Like, people are still gonna probably own a car, but you're just gonna have a lot less ownership. because you could just summon a car and there'll be so many of them and it'll be so much cheaper that, like, well, why would I bother? I just say, I want to go to Kroger. Cool choice, dude. I could pick anywhere, and I said Kroger. Do we use this one? No, where's Instagel? Ah, I put it somewhere. Oh, there it is. Okay, I got it. But yeah, kind of like sports cars. People own something, but maybe a 2-car household will just move to a 1-car household. And then if it makes sense for you to just summon a car, then you probably will, because the price of that might be less than monthly ownership. You know, people in cities often use public transportation, so public transportation might effectively just broaden out. Let's be clear, this is not... No, I wasn't calling this a sports car. Ah, you missed the talk. I saw a self-driving car with clients inside drive straight through a scene of the crime. Yeah, that's kind of been our experience with all the AI stuff. They're smart, but they're not like that smart. There's so much processing that needs to happen. So everything is kind of happening like a program. So as soon as you have something that's kind of unaccounted for, it tries to interpret it as best as it can, but it usually defaults to, it defaults to your instructions. It's a little hard to explain. This is a middle-aged man who can't afford a sports car. Dude's just got it out for Rams. This is a work truck. I'm not gonna get a Mustang for a work truck. This is also I don't know, his 7th vehicle. I have almost no signal in my car. I got tints all around. Back is ceramic windshield. No, the only types of film that really interfered with signals was metallized. There's no metals in carbon or ceramic film, so there's nothing to interfere with that kind of stuff. All right, roll it all the way up. I think both of my windshields are metallized, the Chameleon and HP below it. So HP stands for high performance, but it's usually an indicator of metallized. That, yes, Chameleon, I'm not sure. I mean, it makes sense because how do they stay reflective? It might be a metallized process for that. I don't know enough about that, but definitely the HP is. Chameleon could be metallized, but not all are. That definitely sounds very probable. Because there's so many different types. And metallized isn't as much of a thing. So it's a good question. I genuinely don't know about that one. But yeah, HP films, those are, I don't know why it's like the industry's way of a little moniker for metallized, but it is. Like NR is typically a dyed film, but all it stands for is non-reflective. So many film companies call their films like NR. No, it's too far. All right, so we're gonna shift this over. Unroll this, let it droop away. Cover that. Let's get this on the windshield. Oh, thank God. I didn't want to say it till now because I was kind of holding my breath. But I think I was very close to having this cut a little bit short. I tend to go slim on these rams because there's so many that have the urethane right against the edge. But on this one, look at how nice they were. I got so much space. But then as I was cutting it, I forgot about that. But outside of the windshield is wider than the inside of the windshield. And I gave myself a little more slack on the other side. So we good. As far as I can tell, I just gotta make sure everything's covered. Looks like it's covered. Yes. This is 35. Let's go get our sweep. Push out all those bubbles. How did this Slim Slam come to be? Good question. I willed it into existence. I just got really interested in a side project. We sell a lot of tools, and I always thought it'd be pretty cool if we could make some stuff here. And so now we do. I'm actually going to start another run after this. Maybe I'll just do it on stream. Uh, 35 is really nice on a windshield, but I wouldn't suggest going any darker. Down to 50%, or down past 35, I wouldn't suggest going any darker. I have 50 on mine now. 40 is also a really good choice. 35 is nice because it's like wearing a light pair of sunglasses. It's gonna look lighter on camera right now. But it's daytime in my shop right now. we want it to be easier to see through. It'll block out just enough glare to make it helpful, but not block out too much light. So if it starts raining, you know, harsher conditions outside, you don't want to just like peel it off the windshield to see. Does it make it hard to drive at night? No. No. 35 is good. $35, definitely not. 20, yes. Yep, I'd agree with that. Even 20, most of the time, is like really nice. But it just depends. You know, storm blows in and you're driving. You probably should just pull over. Much harder to see. All right, let's clean off the outside and see what we got to touch up. So the white is a dryer sheet. That's getting cleaned off now. We used it for shrinking. Is it better to leave the windshield dry before installing the tint? What was that? Is it better to leave the windshield dry before installing the tint? No, you want to wet it down. And you want to wet it down because it's a wet installation. If the windshield is dry, tint's not going to move. But you use water to help manage dirt. So it could stay dry, and then you clean it off. And when you're installing it, you spray both the film and the glass. No, the windshield was definitely wet when I unrolled it. If I left it dry, my tint just wouldn't slide as nice. We've got you can do replays on YT. And so you can see everything that we did to prep it. So we used gel on the edges, we sprayed the whole windshield, and then we sprayed the film. Are you tinting outside? No, dude, I'm in a garage. How much does GeoShield pay you? I mean, we're a distributor. So whatever our distributor agreement is. Like, we're a tool and film distributor. So like whatever sales are, that's what we make. Why are you cleaning the outside of the glass? Because we had a dryer sheet all over it. It was dirty. Sure. That's what it is. A handful of years ago, I had a handful of sponsors. Tintwiz was a sponsor. Tint Depot, Plotter Depot. We don't have sponsors anymore, but we're a full tool and film distributor now. So that's why. It's like we just sell it directly. Ooh, that looks nice. I like that a lot. I need my windshield tinted properly. We can do your windshield properly. Do you enjoy your Tesla? Yeah, Tesla's nice. It's just a rear wheel drive one, so it's shitty when there's snow on the ground. But an all-wheel drive one would be much better. Leases are cheap enough too. It's kind of wild. I actually haven't seen them since they've gone up. With that EV credit going away. But that's why I ended up getting one. It was the most competitive lease. Better to do a brow after a full windshield? Yep, 100%. All right, let's see. So this is a twist-on style. Line it up and then hold it straight. I didn't do a good job right there. I like taking these off more than I like putting them back on, though. Okay, there, it's square. Pressure. Yeah. Got it. That's fun. Look at this chunky ass housing. Slides up here. This is gonna clip. Don't really give you room to push on it very hard, do they? And then we're gonna slap this guy in here. I can't believe I got this thing out of here, let alone putting it back in. There we go. Nice. She's back up there. Is it possible to tint a windshield that has a little star crack on it? Yeah, absolutely. It's recommended to get a new windshield or have the chip filled. But that's up to the owner. We just did one yesterday. I had a chip in it. He said, "Yep, I know." All right, we'll do it. Always make your customers aware, because not all of them realize that they have one. But if they didn't get the chip touched up, it can absolutely spread. You're putting heat, you're putting pressure on the glass, and then afterwards that glass is going to be absorbing more heat. So even a chip that hasn't moved in a number of years could then start spreading because now the glass is getting hotter. You can't promise them everything's just going to be the same. I got a business card? What is this? Wow. Thank you. Well, yeah, we'll figure out like a little design and then we can have them printed too. But even something to just hand to somebody, because I've been putting that off forever. I like it. I asked my tint guy, he said replace it first. Yep. That's definitely recommended. Not all tinters want to do something that's chipped. So, is it fine? Yeah. What is that? Is that a little bubble? We gotta push this down? Yeah, it is. Glad I saw it before I got stuck. Windshield is 35. So look at what it looks like now, right? Oh, that's super bright. Part of that's camera exposure. So if I look out, look back, you'll see a little shift in lighting. See how that gets darker, lighter, darker, lighter. That's always happening with the cameras. But tint, just when your vehicle, I gotta put this down. When your vehicle's all wrapped up, it now looks that much darker, right? So you don't have to put a super dark shade on the windshield to then make it look much darker. So this is 35. This would be a light shade for the front doors. Pretty much the lightest that we install on average. Hardly anybody does 70 or 50 on the side doors. So looks good, looks really dark. And you pop on through, and you can see right through it. But if I back up here, to give you more of an honest look at kind of what it is. So we got bright walls, this is without any film, and then looking straight through the windshield, you can see how that's darker, but it's not like, oh, that's so dark, it's so hard to see through. We'll take a meter and see what it is. I forgot what we did on the sides. It looks like 5. Looks like we just did like a carbon 5% on that. Yes, so that's very dark. And then on the windshield, final percentage with 35 is 30. Are rams hard to shrink, or is it just me? Rams are definitely more curvy, but they're not insane. Can you sit inside with the door closed? Yes. But, like I said, keep in mind, camera auto adjusts. So it's gonna seem a little bit lighter once I shut the doors. So this 5 here looks a little bit darker in person than it does on camera, but it's still really comfortable to see through. That rear is definitely 5 over factory. You know what, to be honest, here's what's weird. It looks darker on camera. It looks lighter in person, but on the sides, they look a little bit lighter. It's actually really funny. But yeah, it's pretty easy to see through the back on this thing right now. What tin are you using? This is carbon. See, it's a myth that I want to make sure I bring up and that I kill. You get that effect with any nice window film. So your vehicle will always look darker on the outside, is because the brightest light source wins. So if we turn off all the lights and we turn on the interior lights of the truck, we'll be able to see into the truck easier. But because there's no lights on the interior, everything looks really dark. But you open up the doors, and then it's easier to see through. Same thing on the door window. If we just leave it open, we can see through it on both sides. It's just you're gonna get more reflections from the way that the light bounces off of an external like curved surface, but if we had lighting shooting up here, it'd make it harder to see through. But tint's gonna be the same on both sides. It just works really well because, again, the sun is on the outside of the vehicle. So it always gives you a little bit more privacy. It's easier to drive with. What's a real good window tint? The ones that we sell and install. Now let's go up front and I'll walk you through it real quick. So we have 3 levels of film here: a carbon, a single layer ceramic, and a dual layer ceramic. This one right here is what we installed. We installed the 35%. Awesome looking film. It's not gonna block a lot of heat, but it's gonna give you aesthetics and it's gonna save you some money. Bumping up to here, this gives you the same aesthetics and it blocks out a lot of heat. This is basically 2 layers of that combined into one film. So it blocks out even more heat, but it's like the bleeding edge. Most people end up going for this one, but depends on where their budget is. We still sell a lot of that. But the material doesn't matter so much. It comes down to how those films are made. What's the best brand to buy? I mean, I'd stick with Geo still. If you're going to a more recognizable brand, you're not getting a better quality film, you're paying more for brand. Yeah, we do sell GeoShield. So we have the film available here, or you can buy it directly from GeoShield themselves. That's one reason I really like them. They're a little bit more accessible. They're very nice films. When you get to a certain bracket, you're paying more for brand than you are any type of film improvement. Do you have power going to the displays? Yeah, I can turn on a light and they light up. They look cool, but it's more for show, and then I shut them off when I'm actually showing like shade samples and stuff. All right, final questions and then we'll wrap up here. I actually want to show that really quick. These display boards are cool. Do you need me for something?
Huh?
Do you need me for something? Oh. So I wired them all up. I gotta fix it. But this is what they look like when they light up. So it makes everything look that much more bright. But these displays are super cool because you can take them right off. So I'll take these right out to a customer vehicle to like go over shades and stuff. They're magnetic, so they just go right back up here. Geo's got a couple different backgrounds. So I just put the backgrounds on the edge ones, but they're the same shades, different films. That's how these ones line up. Super cool display boards. I gotta let them know this truck's all done. Camera 3. Answer me, please. What if somebody wants 20 all around and the back windows are tuned windows? The back windows are tinted? Is that? So there's a few different situations and I don't know what one you ran into. But this one's a good example. This has factory privacy glass on the rear, and I can check what that is with a meter. Most of the time, it's in that 20% range. So if they want 20 all the way around, I'm not doing anything on the back. I'm just doing the front doors in a 20 to match the rear, or as close as I can get those. If there's nothing on there, obviously you would just do the whole thing. But you want to take a meter and be able to check what's on there. Because if it's aftermarket, it could be anything. You would want to remove it before you added something over it. But most of the time it's factory. And you want to check it and just put a shade. You could put swatches up there, you could do math, and you could figure out what shade actually needs to go on there to make it 20%. I just started and want some tips on how to tint windows when they are factory tinted or dyed windows. So any video that you see on tinting is going to teach you how to do those. The glass is just colored. It works exactly the same. You can't lighten it, you can't remove it. Factory colored glass is exactly that. It's still glass, it's still the same. Let's say they want 5 and the back is 20. The closest is just going to be another layer of 20, which is effectively what's on the front right now. So we did just a layer of 5 on the front. On the back, we did a layer of 5 over the 20. But if I wanted those two to match, you see how there's a darkness difference? I would tint those in 20% and you would have an almost identical match. God, the back looks so much darker when you open it up, but in person, like it's darker, but I can still see through it. It's funny how much darker on camera it actually looks. Getting a car with factory tint is dope because when you tint it with 15, it looks like 5. Yeah, because you did bring it down to 5. It's going to be a little darker on average, but yeah, you're like right around there. Camera 1. Was I going to do something else? Oh, yeah. I guess I'll get the handles prepped and start running those. I don't care anymore. So let's do this stuff. I got to let my customer know that his truck is all set. Let's put this out of the way. Let's make sure this is clean. Oh no, I got to swap this out. Okay. This one can be moved. Let's put that there for now. This one's full, right? Yes. Yes, it is. So we're gonna take that. I'm gonna swap it. Is this gonna fit over here? I hope so. That would be really convenient. Ooh, that's nice. I like that. What was that one? If cars don't come with factory tint, is it okay to tint over tint? If cars don't come with factory tint, oh, putting it over, not really. Not with a warranty anyways, and that's kind of the tricky thing, is like if the tint's in good shape, you shouldn't have any issues with it, with putting another layer over it, but you might. Okay, we can move that. Ooh, where's my cover? I think my cover's here. It's not. Oh, this is my cover. I need this guy. It's an eye exam. No, it's actually what we use to make handles. It's been a fun learning experience this summer. Should be good. And make sure everything is squeaky clean. Is it locked and clean? Yes. And then we can add that to the queue, and then we can click play. What motivates you so much? Oh, this is like hobby for me. Like I just am interested in everything about all of this stuff. So like with the camera stuff, I'm always trying to make it better, and then I don't know, then I stumble into weird new things and I'm like, let's try that. Yeah, this is a resin printer. It's a little bit more special / different than your typical 3D printer. It uses photopolymers instead. So it basically takes a big vat at the bottom and then it cures it layer by layer. So that's how we make our reach arounds and slim slams. You got all the new tech always. Yeah, this is kind of my outlet for all of that. So that makes these guys right here slim slams. And then the other thing we do are these, the reach around, so the small slim grip handles. It's cool because it brought, I mean, the machine's not cheap, but it's really good for prototyping and making simple to like mildly complicated things. It's not quite as robust as injection molding, but it's a way to make iterations really quickly and like dial something in. And for tinting, it's like you're not replacing shanks with something like this, but like your medium size and price tools. It's like you can start to do some of those. So like the slim slams, the slim grips, those we've managed to do, and I've got some ideas for some more stuff. Could that make ceramic coating holders like for the bottles to sit in? Yeah, it definitely could do something like that. Like you could make basically any shape that you want to. It's not a super big one, so I'm a little limited on size. And then materials are more expensive, but you also make up for time. So it goes layer by layer. So it doesn't necessarily matter how many I do in a row. It matters how high I build. Those slim slams are the best. Thank you. We're doing another batch right now. So right now it's preparing. They generally take, we can do 10 of them in about like 4.5, 5 hours. But this is the size of the plate that I'm working with. Let's clean this off. So I can't fit a bulldozer on here. There's just not quite enough space. But regular 3D printers that go with filament, so it's essentially like a hot glue gun with like a PLA material. Those have gotten like super smart. So now you can do like multicolors and stuff. But the bigger the piece and the more stuff that you do, like a simple project is going to take many, many hours. You'd do like one thing overnight. So what's cool is like this makes sense for like small-ish batches of stuff. So it works really well for our store right now. They have a bigger version. Yeah. I heated up the Slim Slam with a heat, like you said, and it squeegee fits a lot better. I'm glad to hear that. I'll have a different material in a couple days. Shein. But yeah, I'm definitely glad to hear that. Oh, why is it on that one? Camera 1. That's the store. These cameras are funny. They don't pick up, or they just pick up a person and they'll track a person wherever they go. So if I'm not on camera and it sees somebody else, it's gonna follow them around. Okay, let me message my customer. Wow, you didn't have to describe yourself. Bye. Alrighty. Well, that was fun. So, will cars have glass that can break easily with heat? Most cars are perfectly fine. Supercars with thin high-performance glass, I'd only worry about that kind of stuff. Like Porsche. Like you can just have really thin glass on some of those, but nothing else really is going to give you a problem. Alrighty, guys. I'm going to get some other stuff done. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate ya. What's today? Wednesday? I'll be live Friday. On the course software, do you always cut below the seal? Yes. And I find sometimes it doesn't even always do that. Camera 2. Oops, that's the wrong one. Camera 3. There we go. That's the one that I wanted. Yeah. Prefer below the gasket. Yep, I always leave this toggled. I always go with the little bigger patterns. They're not really even bigger, in my opinion. They're like big enough. The short ones, I don't understand why they're a thing. Because anytime I see those cut, like above the gasket on this is just gonna leave a gap here. So I don't understand why they're a thing. chicken adobo. I don't know. It's harder and harder to figure out dinner. You're trying to please kids on top of it. Oh yeah, one thing. I brought this up on a different stream, but anybody that's got core, ooh, I'll do it with a windshield because obviously you should do it on a windshield. Go to cut board. So, if you want a simple way to make a windshield strip, because if you look at so we're gonna click on windshield. Let's do a blank one. I was wondering if you could respond to an email about a film order. Oh yeah, they should have already gotten back to you. What's the name or the order number? And I'll make sure it gets taken care of because it should have gotten taken care of already. That's why people are sitting over there. What was it? What? Was it this one? No, that's Node. What was the thing? I swear, it's one of these. I know it is. Where did it go? No, that's a rectangle tool. Oh yeah, cut down. That's what it is. I get confused with their icons. Okay, so if you look up a windshield and they just don't have the windshield strip that you want, or you don't trust the windshield, yeah, click that little circle button up there. It's called cut down. It'll do a straight line across the windshield, but it's better than that because you could put it here and then it bends. So you can do a straight looking strip and you click cut. And then there you go. You got your windshield strip. Super easy. I didn't know about that feature, even though the button's right there. My brother just taught me about it like a few weeks ago. So if you want an easy way to make sure that you got a windshield, again, click on the button, get a straight line, put it anywhere on the windshield, and you could do an even more curved one, you could do a straight one. Pretty cool. And then these boxes here are 1-inch boxes. I forgot, oh yeah, up here, you have a grid button. You can turn it off or on. Each one of these boxes is 1 inch, so 36-inch roll, 36 boxes, but it makes it really easy to do any type of measurements that way too, because you could line it up on one of the box areas and measure down like 1, 2, 3, 4. So you could take a measurement on the truck and mirror that over to there. Pretty cool. That's core. I low-key didn't know you could bend it. Thanks for letting me know. That's exactly why I just showed it. I didn't know that that was a thing. I assumed there was a tool to just give you like a straight cut across, but because you can curve it, you could do that on a bulk windshield, you could do it on a pre-cut one. So Rams, Durangos, they have so many windshield options, and I've cut some that just that center part didn't quite line up. But I could oversize the windshield if I wanted to, or take the windshield pattern for it, and I would trust to get the nice cut across, and then I can do the center part myself to make sure that it's gonna line up. So yeah, I'm gonna leave you guys with that. Thank you for hanging out. I appreciate ya. We'll see if this actually is synced. Okay, that's close enough.